Right, here's something a little bit different, but not entirely unusual to me. I've worked on a couple of these engines before, but this is a cylinder head off a Pre War AJS 250, and I built an engine up for the owner of this one a couple of years back, and basically he had the bulk of two engines in bits which he brought to me, and I built one up that should be pretty good, and I used obviously the best bits I could find amongst those bits, leaving behind a load of perhaps not so good bits. The cylinder head was one. The cylinder head I used on the other engine had decent valves and guides and so on. This one didn't. This is how one of them came out, and it also there was a lot of play between it and any of the valves that I've got, so the guides had to come out. I put the head in the oven and warmed it up to 250 according to the dial on the oven, and I managed to drive this inlet guide out. Luckily they're the same diameter all the way along, because as you can see, this tapered end that faces the combustion chamber was broken, and I don't think I would have had much luck trying to drift it out from that end, so I was able to drive it right through and out, and it came out fairly easily, no harm done on the way out. But come to the exhaust one, and no matter what I did, that just wouldn't budge, and I'd been using drifts with soft mandrels on them, aluminium drift, as big a hammer as I wanted to use, and bear in mind the cylinder head was hot as well, and I did not want to go damaging the cylinder head. So in the end I opted for clamping the head down to this workbench, and I just had to take to drilling and drill progressively larger and larger and larger holes through it, and till I ended up, this basically is what I had inside the head. And to get it out, I found that I'd managed to drill to a large enough diameter to actually get a hacksaw blade to pass through it. So then I put the hacksaw blade through and just patiently sawed and cut away there till I broke through, and it then turned out to be a nice easy tap out fit. So that's both the valve guides out the way now, and interestingly enough, on another engine that I did work on for a different owner who had a complete bike, I actually managed to adapt some Royal Enfield bullet valves and guides to do the job. So this is a cast iron Royal Enfield valve guide. I'll use phosphor bronze if I'm going to do it. I'll speak to the owner. But that was another thing with warming the head up. It didn't make as much difference to the fit of the guides or the ease of getting them out, because obviously the head is cast iron and the guides were cast iron too. Warming it up or getting it hot did obviously contribute and help a little, but it works better if you've got phosphor bronze valve guides in there. You heat the head up, and that does actually help ease the fit and make them easier to get in and out. But there we are, I've got what I want now. I've got the valve guides out, so now I just need to sort out some replacements, and like I say, I'll run it by the owner, but I've done it successfully before. I've made Royal Enfield bullet valves and guides fit, and in fact I've used Royal Enfield valves and guides for quite a number of things, because they're very handy, because the guides have got a very large outside diameter. In fact, probably be a direct replacement for what came out, and a smaller inside diameter. And one of the first engine that I worked on from a complete bike was for a guy who wanted to tune it a little, so we ended up with slimmer stemmed and lighter valves than it would have had originally, as a result of using the Royal Enfield bullet ones. So that's a big weight off my mind. Those two are out. I can get on with whatever I'm going to do next to make this a fully functioning and usable cylinder head.